Welcome to Impact Unleashed, the nonprofit edition, where we dive deep into the untapped potential of nonprofits and their remarkable ability to create a lasting impact. I'm your host, Sara Mayer. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Impact Unleashed, the nonprofit edition podcast. I'm your host, Sara Mayer, and we're diving deep into the next installment of the 10 stories great leaders tell. This is the book that we've been working out of by Paul Smith. It's a little shorty episode. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see. And it's more than just one story. So today we're talking about the What We Believe story. This is not just a feel-good statement. It's the strategic and psychological foundation for your nonprofit's brand, culture, and influence. So if your founding story is the origin story and your vision is the destination, then your belief story is the moral compass. It's the guiding force that shapes everything in between. So we have been diving into the 10 stories great leaders tell. This is one of the What We Believe story is story number 5. So if you haven't listened to the other episodes, I encourage you to jump back. All right. So your What We Believe story is that guiding force that shapes everything in between. But here's the kicker. Your belief story is only as powerful as it is bold if you create alignment and division. And yes, you heard that. The strongest belief stories don't just invite people in, they challenge them to take a stance. And a great belief story isn't designed just to be agreeable. It's designed to be magnetic. So why the We Believe story is a strategic imperative for your nonprofit. It's more than a warm and fuzzy slogan. It's an activator. It must distinguish your nonprofit from others in the space. It must polarize because a belief that pleases everyone truly inspires no one. And it must energize by creating an emotional charge that makes people feel something deeply. And then it must mobilize by giving supporters, donors, and advocates a reason to stand with you and behind your programs. So this story keeps your organization from becoming transactional. It really transforms passive donors into lifelong advocates. And that's why we can't just settle for a generic, agreeable belief statement. So, for example, we believe mental health matters. That's a little too broad. We believe that access to mental health care is a right, not a privilege. Stronger, but still common. We believe that ignoring mental health is a form of societal neglect, and we refuse to let people suffer in silence, not science. Now we're getting somewhere. Do you see the shift? We've gone from a statement to a true stand. That's a What We Believe story. So there's a structure for structuring your powerful belief story. So to craft a belief story that doesn't just inform, but compels, this uses a high impact framework. So it calls out the common assumption and then challenges it. So you want to start with what people already believe or assume to be true, and then you disrupt it. So for example, a common assumption, food insecurity is about not having enough to eat, correct? Disruption, food insecurity isn't just about hunger. It's about hidden choices families are forced to make. It's about deciding between rent and dinner, between medicine and groceries, and that is unacceptable. This immediately hooks the audience by making them rethink something they already thought they understood. Number 2, you want to define what you stand for. In one sentence, no fluff. Make a powerful, unfiltered statement about your core belief. So, for example, we believe that education isn't just a privilege, it's a weapon against injustice. We believe that generational poverty is not a personal failure, it's a structural design flaw. This is not a place to play it safe. The more precise but bold your belief, the stronger the emotional connection. And you want to prove it with a story that invokes emotion. So that now that you've made your belief claim, back it up with a transformational story. And this is really where the logic meets the emotion. For example, we once worked with a single mom, Tanya, who was working 2 jobs and still had to choose between rent and food for her kids. She told us she felt like a failure. But let me be clear, Tanya didn't fail. The system did. And that's why we exist. That's why we fight. By centering that real human experience, we take our belief from theory to reality. And then number 4, you want to invite alignment and disagreement. A belief story isn't just about who you attract, it's about who you repel. It should be strong enough that some people will disagree, and they may not be your people. For example, if you believe, like we do, that healthcare should never be a financial decision, we invite you to stand with us. And if you believe otherwise, we may not be the nonprofit for you. That last line, that's where the real commitment is built. It signals that it's not just a mission, it's a movement. All right, so here's one example of a high impact belief story. Let's put this all together in an advanced level belief story. Most people think that homelessness is about not having a place to sleep. But that's a lie. We tell ourselves to make the problem seem simpler than it is. Homelessness isn't about a lack of shelter. It's about a lack of belonging. It's about being ignored on the streets, passed over in hiring, and dismissed by a system that treats you as invisible. We believe that no one is beyond redemption, that dignity isn't something you earn, it's something you're born with. And that's why we're here, because homelessness isn't a crisis, it's a failure of our collective humanity. If you believe, like we do, that every person deserves a chance to rebuild, then stand with us. But if you believe that homelessness is a personal choice, we're probably not the right nonprofit for you. The story does 3 things. It challenges an assumption, it takes a clear, uncompromising stance, it invites passion and alignment and a respectful division. And this is how you can create a true belief-driven momentum. So here's a final thought. The power of polarization in nonprofit messaging is critical. And the truth is, most nonprofit leaders don't talk about their goal. How do I say this? Here's the truth that most nonprofit leaders don't talk about. Your goal isn't to get everyone on board. It's to build a tribe of fiercely committed people who see the world in this way that you do and will fight to challenge it alongside you. It's also to repel those that maybe are not the right fit. So here's your challenge. Does your current belief story make people uncomfortable? Does it force them to take a side? Does it force them to truly decide if they are aligned with your nonprofit? If not, it may be time to go a little deeper. You can't satisfy everybody, but when you want people to believe and support your nonprofit, you need to get to the core of their values. So don't play it safe with your belief statement. I hope this episode sparks something in you. If you're ready to define your belief story, take 15 minutes, write down what your nonprofit really stands for, and then ask yourself, is this bold enough? If you love this episode, make sure you smash that subscribe button, share it with your team, and join our Impact Unleashed Nonprofit Edition Facebook group, where we're diving deeper into leadership, storytelling, and impact. Until next time, be bold, take a stand, and unleash your impact. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Impact Unleashed, the Nonprofit Edition. I'm so excited you were here on this journey. If you haven't signed up for our newsletters and wonderful resources, please visit nonprofitimpactunleashed.co. Again, that's nonprofitimpactunleashed.co. I look forward to seeing you on our next episode of Impact Unleashed.